So we have seen, so properties uh, such as f of minus of x. So we had sine inverse of, so first we saw sine inverse of minus x. We have written simply minus of sine inverse of x. Second, we had cos inverse of minus x. This we'll write pi minus cos inverse of x. Third was cosec inverse of minus x, because sine is in minus, so this will also be minus, so minus of cosec inverse of x. Fourth was tan, so tan inverse of minus x will be nothing but minus of tan inverse of x. Fifth was cos is in this, so sec will be similar to this one, so this is cos inverse of minus x, so sec inverse of minus x will be nothing but pi minus sec inverse of x. And sixth will be cot inverse of minus x will be nothing but pi minus cot inverse of x, है ना? These are the properties we have seen in the last class, right? So just okay, so now we will do properties with, so this is for minus, so now we will do the properties related to 1 by x. Okay, for all of them, so for this one x belongs, you know where x belongs to, x belongs to 1 minus 1 to 1. For this one also x belongs to minus 1 to 1. For this one x belongs to the its original domain where it should be, है ना? Where for individual x belongs to its specified domain. And don't say that here sir x belongs to real number. No, x still for this one only, for sine inverse x will belongs to its original domain, है ना? That is from minus 1 to 1. Similar for cos inverse also, x belongs to its original domain, minus 1 to 1. Cosec minus infinity to minus 1 and 1 to infinity. Similar for tan inverse, it will be real number. Sec inverse same as cosec inverse, and cot inverse again real numbers, है ना? Fine. So now we'll second will be properties, है ना, such as f of 1 by x, है ना? Now so now yeah, previously we have seen that we have converted sine into cos and cos into sine, right? So now this will be 1 by, so this sine into cosec and cos into sec and all that, है ना? So first will be, if you have sine inverse of 1 by x is equals to, so this is 1 by x, so this will be cosec inverse of x. Okay, this will be equals to cosec inverse of x, and again x should belongs to, here x belongs to minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity, right? Second will be similarly if sine sorry, this is cosec, okay. Now second is for, this is for sine, so we'll have for cos also, cos inverse of 1 by x, this will be equals to sec inverse of x, where again x belongs to minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity, okay. And the third one, we have sine to cosec, we have cos to sec, so we'll have now tan to cot, okay. But tan to cot will be little different, है ना? So we have seen these two are very simple. So we have, suppose we have tan inverse of 1 by x, this will be equals to cot inverse of x, when x is greater than 0, and this will be equals to minus pi plus cot inverse of x when x is less than 0. Okay, so only for this one is, means this one you have to remember separately. Okay, just check these properties, these we have done in the last class also. Just write them once and write these also, है ना? Write these ones, write them also. Okay, fine. So now let's see. These are the two basic properties, right? These are two different forms. Now one, so the last kind of property, which is for complementary angles. Okay, this is a very important property, you know. So first is sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x will always be equals to pi by 2, where x belongs to -1 to 1. Sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x will be equals to pi by 2, where x belongs to -1 to 1. Okay, this is one of the property. Second, tan inverse of x plus cot inverse of x will be equals to pi by 2, where x belongs to, here x belongs to r, here x belongs to r. Okay. Third one is sec inverse of x plus cosec inverse of x will be equals to pi by 2, where x belongs to -infinity to -1 union 1 to infinity. Okay, write them. So three sets of properties, three different sets of properties I've given you today. Okay, we'll do questions based on that, and we'll do questions based on this. Fine, just copy them and then we'll start doing the questions. Yeah, okay. Okay, fine. So let's see. Let's start the questions. Let's start doing questions on them. So this is 2. First, we'll start with very simple one. So let's see. If question is if sine inverse of x is equals to pi by 5. If sine inverse of x is equals to pi by 5 for some x belongs to, for some x belonging to -1 to 1. Sine inverse x belongs to 5 is equals to 5 by 5. Right? So this is equals to -1 to 1. Then find the value of cos inverse of x. A very simple question. Right? Yes, Soumya, that is correct. 3 pi by 10 is the correct answer. Yes, 3 pi by 10. But okay, sure. Yes. So using the first property, now see, using these, this first one I will show, and I will show you that how, means what is the proof. So what is the proof using this question I will show. So if they have given this thing, what we can say is, if this is x belongs to -1 to 1, right? So using this one, I will show you the sine inverse of x this way. So basically what we should get, that sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x should be equals to pi by 2. So sine inverse of x is pi by 5. So we should get cos inverse of x is equals to pi by 2 minus pi by 5, which is equals to 3 pi by 10. So we should get cos inverse of x is equals to 3 pi by 10, right? Let's see. So using a triangle, I can show. So what this is actually using the property. Let's see how this property is coming from. So how that result is coming from. So if we have sine inverse of x is equals to pi by 5, right? I can write some x is equals to sine of pi by 5. Sine of some pi by 5 will give me x. So that means if I have a right angle triangle, if I have a right angle triangle, So this is suppose pi by 5, right? This is pi by 2, right? And sine pi by 5 will be x. So this will be x means height, and base is hypotenuse 1, right? So now if for same angle cos, so you should get, using cos, you should get x. So some angle cos of theta, you should get x by 1, right? Cos of theta is x by 1. Now see, this angle is pi by 5, this angle is pi by 2. So find out what this remaining angle is. This remaining angle will be nothing but pi by 2 minus pi by 5, which is nothing but 3 pi by 10, right? If this angle is 3 pi by 10, then just think about it. This angle, if I take cos of, cos of 3 pi by 10, cos of 3 pi by 10 will be equals to simply x by 1. So 3 pi by 10 will be equals to cos inverse of x. 3 pi by 10 will be equals to cos inverse of x. Understood? So basically, this result, we have seen this result directly. Instead of writing all the triangles, even if you didn't know this result, even if you did not knew the first result, even by drawing the triangle, you will get the same result. By not using this, if I would have simply drawn this triangle, which we have already done before, this thing we have already done before, without using this, if we have drawn the triangle, we would have got the same result, right? But why we are using the property? So that we don't have to draw this, we don't have to repeat the same process again and again. We'll see a common result. Okay, sine inverse x plus cos inverse x will always yield us pi by 2. So that is why we have written it in terms of, as it is a property. Nothing fancy in that. We have already done these things before. Everybody understood? Yes? Okay, very good. So domain includes Maya, but the question they excluded it, sir. Some can be better. Because why? You see, your original question, they have included sign in original property. They have included -1 to 1, right? So here, see, if the property satisfies, for -1 to 1, and I am saying that will it satisfy for -1 to 1 also? But if it is satisfying for a bigger domain, it will also satisfy for the smaller domain also. If it is satisfying for real number, then it will satisfy for the smaller domain, a part of it also. That is why this is also part of the bigger domain. So that is why it will 100% it will satisfy the this one. Okay, fine, very good. Okay. I'm showing you some. Okay, let's see. So these are the properties. Sin inverse x, cos inverse x is equals to this. Tan inverse x, cot inverse x is equals to this. And sec inverse x, cosec inverse x is equals to pi by 2. Okay, fine, very good. Fine. Okay, let's do more question on this. Now see, again, in most of the question, you will see that without properties also we can solve. But we will use property just to save time. Okay, so let's see. So they have given, if sine inverse of 1 by 5 plus cos inverse of x is equals to 1, then find the value of x. Okay, if sine inverse of 1 by 5 and cos inverse of x is equals to 1, then find the value of x. Everybody understood? Yes, it is 1 by 5, right? Why? See, for sine, this value, sine of pi by 2 should be equals to 1. So that means sine inverse of 1 by 5 plus cos inverse of cos inverse of x, should be equals to pi by 2. If this is equals to pi by 2, we have already seen the property. If sine inverse of something plus cos inverse of something is pi by 2, then these two will be same. These two will be x. So that means x is equals to 1 by 5. Very good. Everybody understood? Yes, very simple question. Okay, let's solve. So now solve for x such that sine inverse of x should be less than equals to cos inverse of x. है ना? Sine inverse of x should be less than equals to cos inverse of x. Now, if you remember, we have solved something like this, not exactly, but something like this, where we have done cos inverse of x should be greater than equals to sine of sine inverse of x, है ना? And we have used the graph. You can also solve this using the graph, right? But today we will try to solve them using the property. We can also solve them using the graph. If you remember something like this, we have already solved using graphs before. Something similar, not exactly. Yes, Sandeep, that is correct. X is less than -1 to 1 by root 2. Yes, correct. Very good, Anita. Okay, so let's see. So basically, this is an inequality question. This is an inequality question, right? This is an inequality question. So one thing which we can do is we can draw the graph of both. We can draw the graph of both the function. How can we draw the graph of both in the same? Because x and x for this one also and for this one also, x belongs to which domain? X belongs to -1 to 1, right? So we can simply, one thing is that we can simply draw the graph and we can find the answer. Enough? Because something, just let me check the question, the previous question. Yeah, cos inverse of cos x. Something like this we have already done. Cos inverse of cos x should be greater than equals to sine inverse of sine x. If you remember, question like this we did use solving the graph. When we plotted both graph, one graph will be completely above, that is the answer. Enough? Now, sorry, just greater than. I think it was just greater than, right? Now, for this one also we can do the same thing. We know the graph of sine inverse of x, we know the graph of cos inverse of x. They will intersect at whichever point, whichever is less, that will be the answer. Wherever sine inverse of x, that will be the answer, right? Now, if we have to use the property, if I'm saying that we have to use the property for this question, suppose they in your exam they have given that use the property of inverse trigonometric function and solve this question, है ना? Then what you could have done, that because sine inverse x and cos in here we have sine inverse x and here we have cos inverse x, so I will try to convert one of them. I will try to convert one of them in the other form, है ना? So we have sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is equals to pi by 2. We have this thing. So I can write cos inverse of x is equals to pi by 2 minus sine inverse of x. We can write cos inverse of x is equals to pi by 2 minus sine inverse of x. Pi by 2 minus sine inverse of x. I can substitute this cos inverse of x here. So I will get, if I substitute this thing here, so I will get sine inverse of x should be less than equals to pi by 2 minus of sine inverse of x, right? So this will come here, this sine inverse of x will come here, so this will become 2 sine inverse of x should always be less than equals to pi by 2, right? This 2 is a constant quantity. This 2 if I divide, this will become sine inverse of x should always be less than equals to pi by 4. If sine inverse of x should always be less than equals to pi by 4, then in what should be the values of x? X should belongs to -1 2. What is the value of pi by 4? At pi by 4, it will become 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. And because there is an equality, this is close bracket in both sides. Everybody understood? Just check this one also. Very simple questions, very easy. Using property, it becomes easier because now we don't have to go through all the long process of making a triangle and all that. Or using the property, we don't have to actually draw the graph, and we don't have to see where it will intersect. Okay, I will repeat it once again. One of you is asking, so let's see. So we have sin inverse of x less than equals to cos inverse of x, right? We have sin inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is equals to pi by 2, right? Is equals to pi by 2. So what I will do, I have to compare both. So I will write one of them in the form of other. I will write one of them in the form of other. So here I am choosing cos inverse of x. So cos inverse of x will be equals to pi by 2 minus sin inverse of x. Pi by 2 minus sin inverse of x. I will simply substitute this cos inverse of x here. So this becomes sin inverse of x is less than equals to pi by 2 minus sin inverse of x. Simply I have substituted this value here. So this will come here. So this will become 2 into sin inverse of x less than equals to pi by 2 sin inverse of x less than equals to pi by 4 because 2 will come here. So this x, that means x should be less than equals to sine of pi by 4. X should be less than equals to sine of pi by 4. So what can be the value of x? So x will belongs from -1 to 1 by root 2. Fine, understood, everyone? Okay, very good. Let's write one more question. Okay. Question is, find the range of tan inverse of x plus sin inverse of x plus cos inverse of x. Find the range of tan inverse of x plus sin inverse of x plus cos inverse of x. It's an interesting question. If you have understood the classes till now, you will be able to solve it very easily. Very simple question. No. Check it again. Not 0 to pi. Not 0 to pi. No. Pi by 4 to 3 pi by 4. Very good. Yes. Very good. Yes, pi by 4 to 3 pi by 4. Very good, Abhishek. Rudra, very good. Correct. One thing to observe here is, by sir, for this one, for this part, x belongs to real. For this part, x belongs to real numbers. And for these two parts, x belongs to -1 to 1. Then which thing should I take? Should I take this one or this one? Or should I just improvise a little bit? Which one should I take? If I'm saying this question is valid, then which thing should I take? What should be the domain of x? Real number or -1 to 1? See, if in the same question, I have written tan inverse x and sin inverse x and cos inverse x, and I'm saying that here x belongs to real number, here x belongs to -1 to 1. But when I am talking about the domain of a particular question, that domain should satisfy each and every part, So you can think of this as f of x, this is g of x, and this as q of x. X should satisfy all the three parts, which is the subset of which. So this is the very small set of this. So that means -1 to 1 I can take for all of them. So that means here tan inverse x, here x will not belongs to R, है ना? But x here belongs to -1 to 1, because if x is 2, sin inverse of 2 means nothing, cos inverse of 2 means nothing. So this function, this whole thing will never take 2 as an input, right? Now when we have figured out this thing, now we'll just simply say that sir, sin inverse of x and cos inverse of x between -1 to 1 is nothing but pi by 2. So we have tan inverse of x plus pi by 2. So, right, this will always be equals to pi by 2. Now we just have to figure out what is the range of this part, right? And we are saying that x is less than equals to 1 and greater than equals to -1. X is less than equals to 1 and greater than equals to -1. So this will be maximum. And tan inverse of x will be maximum, right? And this will be minimum when tan inverse of x is minimum, right? This is maximum when tan inverse of x is maximum. This is minimum when tan inverse of x is minimum. Maximum tan inverse x is pi by 4. So this is pi by 2 plus pi by 4. Minimum of tan inverse x minus pi by 4. At -1 it will be minus pi by 4. So this is minus pi by 4 plus pi by 2. So this is nothing but pi by 4, and this is nothing but 3 pi by 4. So that means from pi by 4 to 3 pi by 4. Very good. Almost all of you have got the correct answer. Most of you have got the correct answer. Very good, very nice. This part is clear. This question is very clear, I guess. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's see. Okay. Find the minimum value of sec inverse x whole square plus cosec inverse x whole square. Find the minimum value of sec inverse x whole square plus cosec inverse x whole square. Okay. Okay, done. Pi square by 8. Let me see the answer. Pi square by 8. Pi square by 8 is correct. Abhishek, just check the calculation. Pi square by 4, pi square by 8 you should get. Just check the calculation. I think somewhere you made mistake in calculation. So I told you in the last class, I think we have discussed that how to find the maximum minimum value. So there were two methods, am greater than equal to gm, and second method was to find the perfect square, to convert into a perfect square. So I think this question can be easily solved using by converting it into a perfect square. Okay, let's see. Let's see. So what is this? This is sec inverse of x whole square plus cosec inverse of x whole square. So something is telling me that I have to take a perfect square of this one. Why? Because a square plus b square. So if I have a square, if I have b square, then I have to subtract and add. If I have to subtract and add 2ab, right? So if this is this is sec inverse of x whole square. We have plus cosec inverse of x whole square plus minus 2 into sec inverse of x into cosec inverse of x. Enough. We can take plus minus of sec inverse of x and cosec inverse of x. Now if we look at the properties, once again, we have this. Where is it? Yeah. So we have the last property is sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x is equals to pi by 2, and we have a plus inside. Right? So here I will also take the plus 2. So this will become sec inverse of x plus cosec inverse of x whole square minus 2 sec inverse of x into cosec inverse of x. Right? So this part has been taken care of. This part is nothing but pi by 2. So this is pi by 2 whole square. So this becomes pi square by 4. Every time it will be pi square by 4. This is constant now, right? Now the thing is this sec inverse of x and cosec inverse of x. Now again what I can do is that I know that sec inverse of x and cosec inverse of x can be interchanged. They can be interchanged in one another, right? So I have this property again. So I can write cosec inverse x is equals to pi by 2 minus sec inverse x. I can do pi by 2 minus sec inverse of x. So I will simply write minus 2 into sec inverse of x into pi by 2 minus sec inverse of x. So this is minus 2 into sec inverse of x into pi by 2 minus plus 2 into sec inverse of x whole square. So this pi by 2. So this gets cancelled. So this becomes sec inverse of x pi minus sec inverse of pi plus 2 sec inverse of x whole square plus pi square, right? So now see this, if I rearrange the term, so this will become 2 into sec inverse of x whole square, 2 into sec inverse of x whole square minus sec inverse of x into pi, and this is plus pi square by 4. This is pi square by 4, right? Now see, again I have to find the maximum minimum, right? Again I have to find the maximum minimum. I have this square, I have something in sec inverse, right? And I have this thing as pi square, right? So what can we do? We can again take 2 common. Right? So if we take 2 common here, so we will get sec inverse of x whole square, right? This will become minus pi by 2 sec inverse of x, right? This will become minus pi by 2 sec inverse of x, and this will become, if I'll take 2 common from whole, so this will become plus pi square by 4. Again I can convert this into a perfect square. We can convert this into a perfect square. In the last class, one of you is asking, in the last class we have converted the perfect square in minus. We have converted the perfect square in minus, right? That was because, and today we have converted it in plus. What is the difference? Today we have to get this plus here because we know there is a property which exists such that sec inverse of x plus cosec inverse of x is a constant. That is why I will try to bring here plus. That is why I have taken plus 2 sec inverse of x and cos inverse of x. If there were no property with plus, I would have taken minus and I would have checked where they both are equal. Understood? So that is what is happening. In yesterday's class, this subtraction of these two were 0. Now here plus of them is becoming a constant now. Rahul, I hope you understood now. Fine. So when we convert this into, again, when we convert this into a perfect square, this will become, I'll write in the next page. So this will become 2 into, so this is 2 into sec inverse of x whole square plus pi by 2, sorry, minus pi by 2 sec inverse of x plus pi square by 4 plus pi square by yes half. So if I convert this into a perfect square, this will become 2 into sec inverse of x minus pi by 4, because this is pi by 2, so that means must have been multiplied with pi by 2, so this is pi by 4 whole square, and I will have this is plus pi square by 4, and here I have subtracted and added pi square by 16, so this total will become pi square by 8, right? So now this is the final thing which we have got, right? So this is the final thing which we have got in the previous case, the final derivation, the final thing which we have got. Now we can easily find the maximum and minimum of this using the maximum minimum of sec inverse of x. Everybody understood? Fine. So we can find the maximum minimum of this using, so what we have to find? We have to find the minimum value. So the minimum value of this will be nothing but when this whole thing is 0, this minimum value will be when this whole thing is 0, because sec inverse of x will be somewhere pi by 4. So this whole thing will be minimum when this is 0 somewhere, right? So when is this 0? This will be 0 when when this will be 0, it only will be pi square. So minimum value will be when this part is equal to 0, and when this part is equal to 0, minimum value will be nothing but pi square by 8. Fine. Okay, let's check this. I'll show you the previous slide once again. In this also, see what is happening. We are converting into a perfect square. We are converting in the second step into a perfect square, right? But the thing is that here when we are converting it into a perfect square also, we are left out with these terms. Now these terms are creating problem. In normal questions, when we convert into a perfect square, generally we will have x in plus 1 by x whole square, x plus 1 by x whole square, or y plus 1 by y whole square, or x square plus 1 by x square whole square, and something like that. So this will become a constant. That is why we can find the maximum minimum value using the square only. But here when we are converting this thing into a perfect square, this part is left out. This part is still left out. And we do not know how to find the maximum minimum of these two, right? So this is a constant we know. So we have written this is constant. We have taken care of this, and this is not a problem for us. This is not a problem for us because we have now this thing as pi square by 4 everywhere. Pi square by 4, pi square by 4, right? Now what I have to do is, we know that this sec inverse of x and cos inverse of x, we cannot deal them when both are there. We cannot deal sec inverse of x and cosec inverse of x when both are there. So we have to remove one of them. So that means we have to convert one in another form. Now as soon as I said that one in another form, I know that I will form a square. Again, sec inverse of x whole square, and this is sec inverse of x. Understood? So that is why I'm converting this again into a perfect square. So that is why I have to convert perfect square into into 2 times, right? Fine. Okay. Copy. Let's do some more questions. Let's see. Okay. Fine. Some easier ones. So this is fifth. So let's see, cos of sine inverse of 1 by 4 plus sec inverse of 4 by 3. The value you have to find, the question is we have to find the cos of sine inverse of 1 by 4 plus sec inverse of 4 by 3. Yeah, see, one more thing. This is the second time somebody is asked. Let's see. Somebody is saying that, sir, in this step, what we can do, we can take sec inverse of x as suppose t. Suppose if you take t, so let's write this in the step as pi square by 4 minus pi t plus 2t square. So we will have pi square by 4 plus t square minus pi t. Now this is a quadratic in t. So t square minus pi t plus pi square by 4. This is a quadratic in t, no doubt. This is a quadratic in t. There is no doubt about it. There is a quadratic in sine. This is a quadratic in sec inverse of x, right? But one thing, oh sorry, 2t square. Yeah, but one thing is there, that this t is not ever increasing or decreasing, right? This is not simple x. This t is not linear. This t is sec inverse of x, right? So this t might be decreasing sometime. This t itself is not simple as x. There when we have quadratic in anything, when we have a quadratic in x is a simple linear thing. Y is equals to x is a linear function, but this t might be having a limited value. For example, suppose how can I explain? Okay, let's see. Suppose this is a quadratic equation, this is a quadratic expression, right? You will find the minimum value here. Okay, let's say the minimum value is coming out at 4 pi. Let's say the minimum value is coming at 4 pi. Let's say the minimum value is coming at 4 pi. But this quadratic in t, suppose it was only suppose this quadratic in t was only sine inverse of x. This t quadratic we got in sine inverse of x. So maximum value, right? So maximum value, what can be the maximum value of sine inverse of x? Maximum value of sine inverse of x can be only when x is equals to pi, x is equals to 1, right? And here we are getting 4 pi. So this is much way beyond. So we will only stop at which value? We will only stop at x is equals to 1, right? So actually, if we look at the quadratic, the answer should be coming out x is equals to pi by 4. Means 4 pi, sorry, x should be equals to 4 pi. At that value, we will go at some vertex. But are we actually reaching the vertex? These values x cannot even take because it is sine inverse of x. Understood, bacha? Who asked? Surya, did you understood? Yes, 11. Yes, understood now? Okay, fine. This is the lowest value, but there is a possibility that we will never reach this 4 pi. Before that only the x will not be able to take that value at which it is less. So that is why we convert this into a perfect square, same as we converted x into a perfect square in quadratic expression also. But here we will just stay at the perfect square and we will find the value of perfect square. Understood? But this try to write this in form of t. So Viksha, try to write this in form of t and just convert it into a perfect square, which we have already done. Just write in terms of t if it is easier for you. Write in terms of t, convert it into perfect square. Again, write the t as sec inverse of x. You will get the answer. You will get. This is not simple. It's a simple calculation. Nothing. No. Property, nothing else. Just simply convert it into a perfect square using t. Okay, fine. Now solve this one. But I'm not 100% sure that the graph will be parabola. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Just wait. Because it's sine in it's x s sec inverse of x. Just wait. Just wait. Let me try to use. See, the graph for the previous question. I have not just written that pi square. Let me write that also. So this is plus pi square divided by 4. Yes. So this is the graph which we are getting. This is the graph which we are getting. Now see, this is not a quadratic expression. This is not a quadratic graph, right? So quadratic graph will be only when if instead of this, if instead of sec inverse of x. Now see, this is the graph we are getting when we are convert into perfect square. We will get the same thing, right? Now see, if instead of sec inverse of x, I will simply replace this with x. Now see the change in the graph. So we'll have 2x square minus pi x plus pi square by 4. This becomes a quadratic. Understood the difference? Now, if we'll simply write in x sec inverse of x in terms of t, it will become a quadratic, and we will find this value. We will find this value, right? We will find this value, right? But actually, what we should have got? We should have got something else. Right? We should have got something else. Understood, everyone? Yes, fine, very good. Okay. So this one, what we are getting? We should get, okay, let's see. We should get the answer 3 root 15 minus 7, root 7 by 16. We should get answer like 3 root 15 minus root 7 by 16. Jogendran, just check this root 5. Your only root 5 here, it should be root 7. Just check it. Just check this root 5. Here only you have made mistake. Rest everything is correct. Very good. Root 3 root 15 minus. Very good. Excellent. Just check this one. Check this one. Yes, very good. Okay, so let's solve this one. Very simple. See, cos of sine inverse of 1 by 4 we have, plus sec. This is in sec. If somehow I will write this in terms of cos, which property I can use? I can use sec inverse, cos inverse of 1 by x is equal to sec inverse of x for between the specified domain. So this I can write as simply as cos inverse of 3 by 4. I can write sine inverse of 1 by 4 plus cos inverse of 3 by 4. Now this is cos of something. I can write this as cos sine inverse of 1 by 4 into cos inverse of 3 by 4 minus sine inverse of 1 by 4 into sine cos inverse of 3 by 4. I will simply open the cos formula, cos A plus B, but this is theta, this is phi, cos theta plus phi, cos theta cos phi minus sine theta sine phi. Simple as that, right? Now this this one is simply 3 by 4, and this is sine cos of sine inverse of 1 by 4. You can find the value of this. This is simply minus 1 by 4. This is sine inverse of cos inverse of 3 by 4. So you just have to find the value of this and this. When you simply substitute the value of this and this, you'll get this. Because I think this you will get as, so this is 16 minus 1, root 15 by 4, and this is this one is 16 minus 9, 16 minus 9, 7 by 4. Sorry, root 7 by 4. So this is, from here you will get here, from here you will get here. So this is 3 root 15 by 16 minus root 7. This will be a final answer. Just check this one. Everybody is able to understand or not? Okay. This root 15 by 4. Okay, I'll explain this part. So this is cos sine inverse of 1 by 4. Hai na? Cos sine inverse of 1 by 4. So I'll show you how to convert this one. I will show you this one. This one you can easily understand. Hai na? So let's see. So this is cos of sine inverse of 1 by 4. Right? So here, this part, if this was in cos of something, cos inverse of x, then we would have simply written this in x. If this was cos inverse of x, then we could have simply written this in x, right? Now see, sine inverse of 1 by 4. I will take sine inverse of 1 by 4 is equals to theta. Yeah? So this 1 by 4 is equals to sine of theta, right? So that means this is theta and this is 1 by 4. So this becomes 1 height and hypotenuse is 4. Right? So what is the base? Base is root of 4 minus, so this is root of 15. Root of 4 square minus 1, 16 minus 1, 15. Root of 15, right? This everybody understood? Right? Now this I have to write x, this should give me theta. So theta I have to write in terms of cos. So cos of theta is nothing but root of 15 by 4. So theta is equals to cos inverse of root of 15 by 4. So that is why simply this thing I have substituted root of cos inverse of root of 15. Hai? Everyone understood? Fine. So this was a very simple representation of what properties we used before. Hai? Which now you understood, everyone? Vetri, did you understood the third step? This one, how we got this? Okay, fine, very good, very good. Okay, so I'm showing you the slides from beginning. Okay, so this next week there is almost all of the properties are completed. Almost all of the properties are completed. This is more than enough properties for us, right? Almost all the properties are completed for your JEE purposes and also for your CBSE school board purposes also, right? So from Monday we will simply solve questions, as many questions as we can solve for 4 or 5 days. Right? So for one more week, I will take inverse trigonometric function, as many questions as we can solve, and then I'm not sure. This you ask from your coordinator. So Viksha, I do not know anything about tests or worksheets. You please ask your coordinators. Okay. So I'm showing you the slides once again. One more week we will do questions, only questions. From Monday till Friday, we'll solve as many questions as we can, so that we'll get thorough with inverse trigonometric function. Isai Bacha, I just told you, I do not know about the exam. So why you are asking me again? You can ask the same questions from your coordinator, bacha. You have their numbers also. Yes. Yes. Yesterday's. Arthika, if there is any class, if you guys miss any class, you can ask for the video lectures from the coordinators. है ना? You can ask from the coordinators the video lectures. They have the videos. They will provide you the video lectures. Anirudh, I cannot answer about that here. You know, है ना? I cannot say anything about it here. But you know what I will say. Yes, good, good. Series question. Sequence and series. You got sequence series question. How much I will do? We'll do some addition formulas. Some. Acha, okay. Yeah, I'll learn. Don't worry. We'll do those questions. We'll do in the form of questions only. है ना? Some addition formulas are left out there. Those we'll do in the form of questions only. I will give you questions. Then we'll look at those. है ना? Don't worry. Okay. Fine. So fine. Thank you very much. Okay.